What's up? This is Bboy Addicted. Today we're learning stacks. Oh! So these are the prereqs. First, any freeze that you want to stack, you should be able to sit in it comfortably two-handed. Shoulder freeze, chair, elbow freeze, handstand, shoulder freeze, elbow freeze, air chair, and air freeze, one-handed. You should be able to stall these freezes comfortably. Another prerequisite that you should have is good one-handed hand hops.
Stranded in the open, dried out tears.
So now that you have your prereqs, we're gonna teach you a freeze combo. So we're gonna break this freeze combo down into 4 parts. Shoulder to air chair, elbow, and then elbow to air freeze. That's gonna be your base freeze combo, and we're gonna just build off of that. So I'm gonna teach you this combo with 2 hands first, and then gradually we're gonna take that one hand away, and we're gonna do it one-handed. Part 1, shoulder air chair. So shoulder to air chair, obviously start off in a shoulder freeze, and then you're gonna pump your legs up, and then once you pump, you plant your stab arm into a side chair. So pretty much you want to be as comfortable as you can with this motion from shoulder to chair. And then once you get this comfortable, you want to try to stack it back into a shoulder freeze. Let's start trying doing repetitions. So you go shoulder to chair, then chair to shoulder. Maybe try to do that 2 to 3 times to start, and then after that just keep adding more repetitions to it. And the next step we're going to do is try to get our chair to elbow really solid. So same thing as the shoulder to chair, we're going to use the same leg kick pump. We're going to crunch in, and then we're going to kick in this direction. So we're gonna try to pump pretty much straight up, and as we pump our legs straight up, you see how my hips come off of my stab? Once I pump and get my hips off my stab, I'm gonna push with my stab arm to my elbow. And then that's gonna get you up there. Okay, let's try chair up one more time. So chair, head on the ground, and we're gonna pump, go to elbow. So the next step in this combo is gonna be going from elbow all the way up to handstand. We're gonna go from our elbow freeze, or elbow stand. And then what we're gonna do is same thing as our previous 2 freezes. We're gonna crunch in our legs and use that same hand hop pump to get us up to our handstand. So I'm gonna crunch in, I'm gonna pump up. What I'm doing is I'm sliding my hand from the elbow position all the way to the handstand position. I'm not lifting it up off the ground. I'm just sliding it as my legs pump up. Okay, so after you have all those 2-handed freezes relatively solid, what we're gonna do now is break down shoulder to air chair. All you're gonna do is do a shoulder freeze, but one-handed. And then same thing, we're gonna pump our legs. And as we pump and then slide our stab hand into our obliques. When we're in our shoulder freeze and we pump, what we're gonna do now is just pretty much, because we're breaking this down, just sit in this position and then take your head off the floor. So pretty much a shoulder to air chair is a pump, slide your hand into your stab, and then lifting your head off the floor. It looks like it's all in one motion, but actually it's all those 3 just done really quickly. So this is gonna take a while, but you gotta remember that repetition is key. So the next part is gonna be air chair to elbow. Okay, so for air chair to elbow, obviously you should have a pretty stable air chair to begin with. What we're gonna do is use the same pumping motion to get us up from air chair to elbow. So I'm gonna do a low air chair first, just so you guys can see how I crunch my legs in, and then how I kick. As you saw, my legs went from out into a crunch, and then as I crunched in, I did a pump, and then I kicked straight and a little bit over my head. And then as I did that, my elbow, I pushed up slightly and then slid my elbow under my body or over my head. We start with our legs low, and we're gonna bring our legs in and crunch. And once we crunch and then kick, the push is gonna go towards your head. So pretty much it's gonna go from the side here all the way up here. So you're pushing like this, but upside down. Last part of this combo is elbow to air freeze. What you want to do for elbow to air freeze, what I would recommend is getting a really good stable two-handed elbow to handstand first, and then you should be able to drill that no problem. So after you have the two-handed elbow up to handstand really comfortable, you can try to move on to just using your one arm. How you're gonna start this is, I like to start from my knees and just placing your elbow, whichever elbow you're gonna do your elbow freeze on, just placing your hand, your forearm on the ground, and then you're gonna kick up into an elbow freeze. So that's the first step you wanna get. Make sure to keep your legs crunched. So after you have that really comfortable, going from your knees to your elbow, the next thing we're gonna practice before we actually do the move is your arm placement when you go from elbow all the way up to air freeze. So what you're gonna do is the same sliding motion that we're doing from air chair to elbow is the same as going from elbow up. So what you're gonna do, instead of thinking about having your arm come off the ground and placing it back on the ground, what you're doing is as you're pumping your legs up, you're gonna just slide your arm back. Just pull your arm back. You're pretty much pulling back on this part of your hand. So you're on your forearm, you pump, kick, and then you slide your arm back like that. Now that you have the understanding of how to place your arm and how to get into your elbow freeze, we're gonna focus on the kick or the pump. How you're gonna practice this is just, you don't have to do the full pump and you don't have to go all the way up at first. What you wanna do is go from your knees, get to your elbow, and then just pump up a little bit and try to drag your arm back. As you feel more comfortable with this move, you're gonna crunch your legs in a little bit harder, you're gonna pump a little bit harder upwards, and you're gonna slide your hand like a little bit quicker, and you get higher and higher until you can actually go from your elbow all the way up to your hand. That's what it would look like in the beginning as you're practicing it, and eventually you should be able to get it to look more and more like an elbow all the way up to air freeze. So now that you practice each section by itself, you can try to start putting them together as you feel comfortable. So what I normally like to do for stacking is, let's say a stack combo that I'm trying to do has 4 moves. What I like to do is at first maybe try to go for 2, like try to hit 2 freezes, and if I can hit 2 freezes, I'll try to hit 3, but shoot for 4, if that makes any sense. A success would when I would hit at least 3 of them. So let's say this combo right here is shoulder, air chair, elbow up. If I get to shoulder, air chair, elbow, I would say that's a success. So if you can only hit 3 freezes at one time, keep drilling it. It should get better over time, and then you should be able to hit the full combo. Potential problems that you might have is, let's say you can't hit the last freeze of your stack combo. You might want to try to shorten it, or instead of, let's say, the whole combo that we just did, maybe just take out the shoulder and then just go air chair elbow up. Again, if it's 3 freezes, try to shoot for 2, aim for 3. So go air chair elbow, air chair elbow. As you keep training your elbow to air freeze, it should get higher and higher until you can actually hit the combo. So once you get comfortable with that, you can pretty much have fun with it, do whatever you want, take freezes out, put freezes in, freeze from like a different side, any position. Here are some examples, pretty much. Okay, let's go. So.
Following the light that sets me
On that note, that's a wrap. Bboy Addicted's wrist is done. We have to say to the people. Alright? What's the verdict?
Arthritis.
Arthritis. He did it for you, man! He did it for you! Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment if you'd like to see more from this guy. Around 2. Maybe his wrist will be better by then, maybe not. Guess we'll have to tell. How many likes do you need for your wrist to heal?
100? Well,
100.
That's all.
100. Just 100. Can we get there? Let's see. Thanks so much for watching. Anything else you want to add, sir? To tell the people about freezes or anything? Freeze stacks, is this normal? Should you end on the ground like this?
No, you should not end on the ground like this. Stretch out your wrist beforehand, and, well, actually, you know what? Stretch out your whole body beforehand. Don't be like me. Don't be stupid. Train smart, not hard. Well, no, train smart and hard. Yeah, there you go.
Do you have any plugs? Where do people find you?
Instagram at Bboy Addicted, and, well, YouTube. I don't really use my YouTube anymore, but YouTube at Bboy Addicted.
Anything else?
Practice hard and do your reps.